So before, it was like an hour before we came on, news broke that Pete Rose passed away at age 83. Now, I know he's such a polarizing conversation with every baseball fan out there, every generation out there, the older generation, younger generation. Now, the three of us have sat here on this podcast and said, yes, he belongs in the Hall because of his on-field accomplishments. Like off-field stuff aside. Like we're not even going to talk about the Hall of Fame really. Like his on-field accomplishments were incredible. I mean,
he's a hit king,
modeled the hit king.
He's a hit king.
How he played the game was what everyone should emulate.
The best
he
ever do
never took a play off. This dude, Charlie Hustle, every single play, never took a play off. That's how you play the game of baseball. And you need to celebrate that. Don't celebrate the off the field stuff or talk about the off the field stuff. That's not what we're talking about tonight. What he did for the game of baseball is something that we might not ever see again, and how he played the game.
Yeah, I mean, his record, there's nobody that will ever touch his record. They'll never even sniff it. I mean, he is one of the greatest players of all time, who is probably the least appreciated because of his personal issues. But when you set those aside, like you said, Nick, and just focus on the man on the baseball field, there are very few to ever do it better. There's nobody ever played harder. I mean, he was trucking catchers at all-star games. I mean, this guy had one speed. It was all out all the time. There was no showboating. It was head down, 100 miles an hour, no quit. And then when you hear players like Joe Morgan and Mike Schmidt talk about the fact that playing with them made them better players, like that says everything you need to know about him as a baseball player. He was not only a tremendous player, but he was a catalyst for a team. He helped other players improve. He was one of the single greatest baseball people ever. No debate needed. And the fact that we can't celebrate his career in the Hall of Fame is a tragedy.
Yeah, I mean it's a shame. I mean he's got an MVP, 3 World Series, 2 Gold Gloves, won a World Series MVP, batting title 3 times. He won a Clemente Award. I mean he did win a Clemente Award.
He wasn't always a bad guy.
He wasn't. He wasn't always a bad guy. I don't know, man. I mean 4,256 hits, career 303 batting average. I mean, what are we talking about here? I mean, it's just, and it's a shame that he's passed on, and there hasn't been some kind of remedy to this whole situation, and it's gonna be so lackluster if and when baseball decides to now kind of give up a little bit and let him in. Like it's gonna seem empty and hollow, and that's never what you want when somebody like that. If he ends up getting inducted, it's going to be sad and it's going to be hollow that you had to wait till the guy passed on to do it. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, it's what Tom Brenneman said. If you induct this man after he dies, it's the greatest travesty ever perpetuated against a human being ever. Like it's not right to get to this point. But
yeah.
And honestly, I think for the MLB front office, this is a bit of a sigh of relief for them. No longer is he going to be sending lawyers at you or calling and asking or promoting. Like, this trail goes cold. And I think for MLB that this is a positive to the league office because this conversation can stop.
And Tom Brenneman knows travesties. So.
But the flip side of it is that now the calls for the Hall from the fans are going to pick up. It's not going to be Pete Rose begging for forgiveness. It's going to be the fans screaming to right or wrong.
Yeah.
As we should. I mean, as a fan, I think it is tragic that this man is not in the Hall of Fame. And
yep.
I get what he did, and I wouldn't even argue it that he did it. He even admitted to doing it. But it doesn't change the fact that on the field, he's one of your single greatest players ever.
Yeah,
and I've said it 100 times, and I'll say it 100 more. It's a shame that when the vast majority of the players and coaches you played with, played against, coached against, when they're all by and large sitting there going, yeah, he should be in, then
yep.
To me, that's the argument right there.
Says everything.
That's the argument right there.